A website is a collection of related web pages that are linked together and identified by a common domain name. All the web pages on a website are typically stored on the same web server. Websites are what we usually interact with when we're browsing the web.
And a web page is just a single page on a website, right?
Exactly. A web page is a single hypertext document on the World Wide Web. It can contain various types of content, including text, images, videos, and links to other pages. Web pages are built using several types of code, including HTML, Hypertext Markup Language. This is the standard language for creating web pages. It provides the structure and content of the page. CSS, Cascading Style Sheets. CSS is used for styling web pages. It controls the layout, colors, fonts, and overall appearance. JavaScript, JS. JavaScript is used to make web pages interactive. It can manipulate HTML and CSS to create dynamic content like animations, games, and interactive forms.
I've seen those terms before, especially when viewing the source code of a page. What about URLs? How do they fit into all of this?
A URL, Uniform Resource Locator, is the address of a specific resource on the web, like a web page, image, or document. It tells your browser where to find that resource on the internet. For example, in the URL https://kameradoo.com, HTTPS is the protocol, Kameradoo is the domain name, and com is the domain extension.
What's the difference between HTTP and HTTPS?
HTTP, Hypertext Transfer Protocol, is the protocol used for transferring data over the web. HTTPS, Hypertext Transfer Protocol Secure, is a more secure version of HTTP. It uses encryption to protect the data being transferred, ensuring that the information shared between the web client and server is secure and private.
That's good to know. What about domain names and IP addresses? How are they related?
A domain name is a human-readable address used to identify a website on the internet, like google.com or kameradoo.com. Behind the scenes, every domain name is associated with an IP address, which is a unique numerical identifier assigned to each device connected to the internet. The domain name system, DNS, translates domain names into IP addresses so that browsers can load the correct website.
I've also heard about FTP. How does that relate to all this?
FTP, File Transfer Protocol, is a standard network protocol used to transfer files between a client and a server over the internet. It's commonly used to upload files from a local computer to a web server, or to download files from a web server to a local computer.
That makes sense. What about the different types of networks? How are they classified?
Networks can be classified in several ways, but let's discuss two main categories, based on area and based on accessibility. Types of networks, based on area, PAN, Personal Area Network. This is a small network used for communication between devices in an individual's personal space, like connecting a smartphone to a laptop via Bluetooth. LAN, Local Area Network. This network covers a small geographic area, such as a home, office, or building. It's commonly used to connect multiple computers and devices within the same location. When a LAN uses wireless technology, it's called a LAN, Wireless Local Area Network. MAN, Metropolitan Area Network. This network covers a larger geographic area, like a city or town. It's often used by organizations to connect multiple sites within the same metropolitan area. WAN, Wide Area Network. This network spans a large geographic area, potentially covering cities, countries, or even continents. The internet is the largest example of a WAN. Types of networks, based on accessibility. Internet, a public network that is accessible to anyone with an internet connection. It's the global system of interconnected computer networks. Intranet, a private network that is accessible only to authorized users within an organization. It's used to share information and resources internally. Extranet, a private network that allows external parties, such as business partners or clients, to access certain parts of an organization's intranet.
That's a comprehensive overview. And what about IoT? I've heard it mentioned a lot lately.
IoT, Internet of Things, refers to the network of physical devices, vehicles, appliances, and other objects that are embedded with sensors, software, and connectivity. These devices can collect and exchange data over the internet, enabling them to communicate with each other and be controlled remotely. AI is transforming how we interact with technology, from smart homes to industrial automation.
It sounds like it's really shaping the future. Thanks for explaining all this. The internet and all its components are much clearer to me now.
I've been learning about the Microsoft Office suite, and I'm amazed at how versatile it is. Could we go over some of the main components and features? I'd like to get a clearer understanding.
Absolutely. The Microsoft Office suite is a collection of productivity software developed by Microsoft. It's designed to be used on both Microsoft Windows and Macintosh operating systems. The suite includes several common applications that help users perform a wide range of tasks.
I'm familiar with some of the basic programs like MS Word, Excel, and PowerPoint. Can you give me a brief overview of each?
Sure. Let's break down the most commonly used applications in the Microsoft Office suite. MS Word. This is a word processor. It's used for creating and editing text documents, such as letters, reports, and resumes. You can think of it as the digital equivalent of a typewriter, but with many more features like spell check, grammar check, and various formatting options. MS Excel. Excel is a spreadsheet program. It's used for organizing, analyzing, and storing data in tabular form. It's particularly powerful for handling numerical data and performing complex calculations, making it an essential tool for accounting, data analysis, and financial modeling. MS PowerPoint. PowerPoint is a presentation program. It's used for creating slideshows that combine text, images, charts, and multimedia. It's great for delivering presentations in meetings, lectures, and other public speaking scenarios.
That makes a lot of sense. I've used all three of those programs at some point. They each have their unique uses. I've also heard about different features like decorative text and keyboard shortcuts. Can you explain those?
Sure. Let's go through a couple of examples using some statements and scenarios. Statement I. The tool used to insert decorative text in a document is called clipart. Statement 2. The purpose of using the keyboard shortcut Ctrl+X followed by Ctrl+V for a selected text paragraph in a document is to cut and paste.
So, which ones are correct?
Statement I is false but Statement 2 is true. The tool used to insert decorative text in a document is actually called WordArt, not clipart. Clipart refers to images or illustrations. The keyboard shortcuts Ctrl+X and Ctrl+V are indeed used for cutting and pasting text.
Interesting. I got that one half right, at least. What about text editors versus word processors?
Great question. Here are two statements to consider. Statement I. Compared to word processors, simple text editors such as Notepad and Emacs have limited editing features. Statement 2. Files created with simple text editors cannot be opened with word processors.
Statement I is true but Statement 2 is false. Simple text editors like Notepad and Emacs indeed have limited editing features compared to word processors like MS Word, which offer advanced formatting options, templates, and other tools. However, files created with simple text editors can definitely be opened with word processors, as word processors can read plain text formats like text.
That's good to know. What about MS PowerPoint? Are there specific features that are essential to understand?
Yes, PowerPoint has several features that are very useful for creating presentations. Let's look at a few statements about PowerPoint. Objects on the slide that hold text, pictures, and more are called placeholders. B. MS PowerPoint automatically opens with Windows operating system. C. A view that displays the slides of a presentation as miniature representations of the slides is called slide sorter view.
Statements A and C are true. Placeholders are indeed objects on a slide that can contain text, images, or other content. The slide sorter view shows all slides as small thumbnails, making it easy to organize and rearrange them. However, Statement B is false. PowerPoint does not automatically open with Windows, it must be launched manually.
I didn't know about the slide sorter view. That sounds really useful for organizing presentations. Speaking of presentations, what's the best way to ensure a graph in a report always shows the most recent data?
For that, you should use linking and embedding. Here's a relevant question. Q. A company's word process daily report contains a graph from a spreadsheet. The report needs to display the most recent information from the spreadsheet. What feature should be used to insert the most up-to-date graph?
Linking and embedding should be used. This feature allows you to link the graph in the report to the original spreadsheet. Whenever the data in the spreadsheet is updated, the graph in the report is automatically updated as well.
That's a really powerful feature. I've been in situations where having an automatically updated graph would have saved me a lot of time. What if someone wanted to add text to every slide in a PowerPoint presentation?
For that, you would use a footer. Here's a relevant scenario. Question: Kritika is making her science project presentation on friction using presentation software. She wants to add the phrase presentation on friction at the bottom of each page. Which option should she use?
She should use the footer option. This allows you to add text, dates, or slide numbers to the bottom of every slide in the presentation.
That makes perfect sense. I've seen that used before in presentations to add consistency and branding to each slide. What about Excel? I know it's a bit different from Word and PowerPoint.
Yes, Excel is a powerful tool for managing data. Here are some key concepts related to Excel. Spreadsheet, a computer program for working with rows and columns of numbers, commonly used for calculations and data analysis. Examples include Microsoft Excel and Google Sheets. Workbook, a file containing one or more worksheets. It helps organize data, and you can create a new workbook from a blank workbook or a template. Worksheet, a single page in a workbook that consists of cells where you can enter and calculate data. Cell, the intersection of a row and a column in a worksheet. Each cell has a unique address based on its column letter and row number, like A1 or B2. Table, a container for organizing data in Excel. Formula, a user-defined statement for calculations, beginning with an equals sign, such as equals A1 plus B1. Function, a predefined formula that performs specific calculations, also starting with an equals sign, like equals sum A1, A3. Cell referencing refers to how formulas and functions are linked to cells. There are two main types. A relative cell reference adjusts when a formula is copied or moved, such as A1. O absolute cell reference remains constant even when the formula is copied, indicated by dollar signs, like $1. Range, a selection of two or more cells, such as A1, A3.
Wow, Excel really does have a lot of functionalities. I've heard about cell referencing and formulas, but I didn't realize there were so many options.
Exactly. Let's go over a quick question to test your understanding. Q. Which MS Excel formulas are equivalent to each other? A. A3 plus A4 plus A5 plus A6B equals sum A3, A6, C equals sum A3, A6, D equals sum A3, A4, A5, A6.
Options A, B, and D are equivalent. They all sum the values in cells A3 through A6. Option C, however, only sums A3 and A6.
Got it. So, the sum function can take a range or individual cells as arguments. That's very flexible. Thanks for breaking all of this down. The Microsoft Office suite is incredibly powerful, and I feel much more confident using it now.
You're welcome. It's a fantastic set of tools that can help with a wide range of tasks. I'm glad I could help.